Welcome back to Signals on 91.3. Signals Marketplace will continue next week, Saturday, and I promise that we'll do it better. Well, I have with me very special thanks to Irene Agro for making it happen. I have with me tech bro turned multi-talented artist based in Lagos, Nigeria. His diverse creative palette encompasses songwriting, performance, composition, poetry, and journalism. Notably, is the visionary founder of the St. Clair Records, an independent record label, and one half of the indie music sensation Ignis Brothers. Beyond the solo work, he has lent his songwriting prowess to esteemed acts such as Adekunle Gold, Ibeji, Jessica Bongos, Bigfoot, Tiny Your Face, and many others. Well, I have with me doing the Stoic. There's a personal confession, but is here, and Irene and Timmy made it happen. Welcome to Signals on 91.3. This morning we're talking soulful sounds. Yeah. Okay.
Hello.
Hi. Now, normally everybody knows that Signals does business, but for some reason, I was strolling the streets of Instagram, saw Irene, told Irene, I said, Irene, that guy, I'm looking for him. And to think that on the streets of WhatsApp status, I saw the guys, somebody posted his song. I did not hear it though, let me confess it. But it was just interesting, the body language, the song, and how people were very happy. And I'm like, okay, what's this guy about? Now, welcome to Signals. And what's your original name? The one that mommy and daddy called you.
Well, I mean, it's Ikenna, but I don't think that's...
It's very important. It's very important. Ikenna, right? But we have doing the Stoic here. Soulful sounds. What is soulful sounds to you?
I mean, I think I usually would base this on like what other people have described it as, and I think it's just music that hits you somewhere, like you feel it, and for some people it's them feeling things that they personally haven't like felt before or experienced before. Like someone sings about heartbreak and you feel it in a way where you're like, I don't think I have a personal reason to be so attached to this song, but I just feel it touches me somewhere.
Okay, so is that you're singing good feelings, bad feelings?
Yes.
What's it about feelings?
They are very core to like just who we are as people. Every part of the human experience kind of almost demands it, right? Whether even if it's like you're rarely ever just there for a long amount of time, you're feeling something, whether down or up, but you're feeling something.
So what are you feeling now?
I feel good. My album just dropped, so I'm having a nice time.
All right. Now, there's something you said. You can't create from a place of lack. It starts to affect the art.
Yeah, I think you definitely need to constantly.
So I asked that because most music artists will say most of the songs that they're singing is I'm hungry.
I mean, to be fair, it's a thing where musicians are constantly creating based on their own what they're going through, right? And so, I mean, early in my career, how I tried to mitigate it was just having a job. But the truth is, having a job, it comes at a cost. Right? You're not giving as much to your music career. The leaps and bounds we've made in the last 2 years has been because I left my day job and started a record label with my people, and now we're building a team that can now
navigate the hunger.
Navigate it, yes.
So the hunger has reduced a bit. Now, from 2007 to 2017 to 2024, you've written a lot of songs.
I have.
So how many now?
Honestly, I don't count. I just now focus on what's released. Okay. And for release songs, I think we're over 60 now.
60 release songs. Has been the feedback?
Great, mostly. Like I think it's been interesting where in my career I've really had to I don't relate much to the so many haters and whatnot. People really like my music and it's been good and it's really just also helped that I have always created what I wanted to. I've not been, nobody signed me to anything where I can't make what I want to make. Everything I've made and put out was what felt like what I felt like being, doing at that time, and also when it felt right to put it out. So I'm really grateful for that part. And yes, it's been just a good amount of support from people.
So from Jim Reeves to Ebenezer Obey.
Everybody. We have collected everybody's because I think how it is for me is like I think it's possible to just constantly make good music every time, and that's what we're trying to do. And so by the time you're pulling from all these people who did make great music pretty much every time, you just, I don't know how to explain it. It's like when you mix different things and at the end of the day you still just get one really good thing, and that's what I think music has always been, right? Everybody who you will talk to who's a musician will tell you how to listen to a bunch of people, and so now they are trying to create just better versions or fusions of all the music they've heard.
Okay, so how many people are trying to create from what you've created?
I don't know. That's the interesting part, and I look forward to see what happens there, because I think it's I know that there's a bit of narcissism that comes with artistry, where people be like, oh yeah, I'm going to inspire, but like I don't even look at it that way. I think I'm only just contributing to what the next generation of people will go, this is what music sounds like. I think it's necessary that the soundscape is never just the one thing, because I always say, like, for lack of a better word, your own special brand of insanity will give someone permission to be their own special brand. Like, it's, oh, you have done this thing that nobody else is doing. That means that thing I like to do that, it sounds weird, but I think people might like it. Let me put it out. And the truth is, no matter how weird it sounds to you, I find that you will find a group of people that will like what you're doing. So just,
a kind of tribe, a kind of cult.
Yes.
Well, the signal's on 91.3. If you have questions coming for him, you can send WhatsApp message. Don't bother to call, just send WhatsApp message. Now, over time, Timmy, Shware, over time, we've had lyrics and melodies. Which is superior in your opinion? Why?
Superiority. That one now it's very dependent on the person. I like to listen for lyrics, but for example, very recently I'm listening to I stumbled on some Italian music. It sounds beautiful. I play it constantly. I've not even tried to find out what it means. I don't know what they're saying. So that's why I think it just depends on the music you're listening to and what you want in that moment. So now I'm listening to a song that's for the club. Like, I'm listening to the beats. I want to listen to something I can dance to. If the words are great, wonderful too. But it depends. But I would say, as someone who started out, like, lyrics were my own first love. Like, that's where I will spend lots of my time. I would say lyrics.
Some say music is universal.
Yeah.
So it would be nice if you were listening from Nigeria to Italy.
Yeah.
What's moving you?
What's moving me there?
Yeah.
It's the music. It's that melodies. That's the thing that's interesting. Where, in an interesting way, lyrics and the music meet somewhere in the middle with melody, because there's also something in the way that they are bouncing their Italian words that I don't understand, but I know that it's hitting right. And then the voice, the texture of the voice, the guitar that's playing behind it, everything is coming together to make this an experience of its own. So it's rarely ever a case of, because I don't understand the lyrics, this experience is somehow way less, right? It's like it's still quite an experience, even if you don't know what the words are saying. I'm sure if I check some of these songs and I know what they're saying, it will probably, a new experience will start, but doesn't mean that what I had before wasn't a great experience with the music. So music being universal is actually in fact, I keep being surprised by, like, I have a lot of French fans who I know I put French in my music, but apart from the French, like Streets, for example, someone in Congo reached out, was like, oh, I really love this song, and it was like, but I know they don't speak English in Congo, so it's like, it's music.
The tune.
Yes, melody is the key part of what everybody holds on to at the end of the day, I think.
Melody.
Yeah.
The Master of Ballads.
Yeah.
Why?
Why the title or why the album itself?
Both.
Okay. So for the title,
Back to my mic.
okay. For the title, it was I had a profile done in 2019. Someone had, a journalist had interviewed me. His name is Emmanuel, and he had written "Me Too" in the Stoic, the emerging master of ballads, and I liked the tag. I figured, you know what, let's drop the emerging at this point, because then it felt like I understood why it was emerging at the time, because I was trying to, you know,
Grow.
grapple with this, yeah, and also like the fact that this was a year after the first album, which wasn't supposed to be a serious album. I wanted to just drop a songwriter's resume. The people were hiring me to write songs, but it didn't really until like I think it was like a year later. But the point is, I then had become an artist and I was trying to do this thing, and now I felt like I was just more certain of who I was as an artist. So it was like, you know, this feels like a good tag. Now for the album itself, it felt like the people, both my fans and just people who never listened to me, needed a real introduction to who I was. I think because I come from the literary scene, and so as a writer, bodies of work. I mean, in the music scene as well, but I thought of it more in the literary sense, where it's like your novels. You want to write novels as a writer, or if you're not a novel writer, you want to write a collection of short stories. You want to, and so what happens with a writer is you're likely meeting them at their last body of work. That kind of tells you
Who they are.
right now, and it echoes more in music, where now when people go, oh, what, let me listen to his latest thing, it's like this body of work where I've told you many stories, different genres, and you're able to experience the range of the artist that I am, and so it was necessary to put that out, and the title felt apt.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now that you've done that,
Yeah.
what should people expect?
For me, I'd say now visuals. Interestingly, I'm trying to. There was always a filmmaker side of me that I've started exploring more. Just put out the music video for "I Go Nowhere," which I directed. I want to do more cinematic, because I know that I'm making music for visuals, for like cinematic music, I like to call it sometimes.
Why?
Why I'm making the music?
Why are you making cinematic
Music.
Yes.
It's interestingly, I think it's in the way that movies were always supposed to capture moments in lives, right?
Yeah.
And so I grew up with that as, you know, so I think in the way that I approach music, it's always been about capturing moments, right? It's why with St. Clair Records, our tagline is making your life soundtrack, right? It's the music is always about, so what's this moment about, and what's the song that goes along with it. So a song like Beside Me on the album is a moment, it's a fight, but everything is quiet, you know, nobody's talking. You and your lover are staying in separate sides of the apartment.
You guys have choke inside of your head.
Exactly. What's that moment like, right? And so with that, it's like, yeah, so that's why I think the music then translates into cinema, because that's what cinema is. It's like a vignette, a scene, one moment, what happens here, who goes where, and then what's the music for. So in my head, film has never been separated from music that much. It's always kind of worked
A
together.
balance.
Yeah. So visuals and shows, of course. I'm looking forward to touring this album in a very unique way. We're working out how to make it, because we did for the Love Lane EP, we did a tour, 4-city tour. We touched Abuja, Port Harcourt, Ibadan, and did Lagos in Son. And now, yeah, I definitely want to do like a lot more cities, like Accra, Nairobi, just places where fans are listening. Go there and see them.
So, as you begin to tour these cities,
yeah,
will there be translation of your lyrics?
Interestingly, so I mean, I'm hitting mostly English cities, but for example, I want to go to Abidjan. There might not be. I would try to do that, but if it's possible. But I think that I may not need to. Interestingly, I think.
Why?
Why? Because, okay, so most of the time we're working with data usually, so people are listening. So I mean, they're listening to these songs without translations. So most times it's like, for example, this Italian musician I'm listening to.
What's his name? Let's look for him.
I will check. I will check.
Go ahead.
But if I ever go to a concert in Italy and he's there, I won't expect him to translate for me. I will sing along the little that I've because I've listened to it so much. Exactly. You know, so it's like same thing I expect will happen when I go to places where, but one thing that it's a good idea, right? So that maybe before I go to a country where they likely don't understand the lyrics, then it's a campaign before I get there to just see what it means, right? Here's the lyrics.
Now you've spoken about data.
Yeah.
How effective is data with music?
Quite. It's a lot of like it forms a lot of what we do, because it's like that's how I knew to try to do a tour, because it looked and the numbers. It's like let's say it's like 10,000 people that's listening in this particular city. Now, because I'm an independent artist and you don't have all the money in the world to do the biggest, this thing, and we have an interesting purchasing power problem in this country, but it's like in that 10,000, even if you look for 1%, right?
Or something.
It's something. If you do 10% of that number, that's 1,000 people. If 1,000 people pay a sensible amount for tickets, you get sponsorship. You can put on a show, and you give your fans an experience that. And the beautiful thing about shows and tours and why artists have been doing it for ages now is you go to a city, they love you, you give them a good show, you treat them well, they don't want you to come back again. And so by the time your next album comes out, you can come back again. And just like that, and then suddenly that's why you have people say, like, someone would speak of Wizkid and London and how it feels like it's his
zone.
Yeah, because he will come there and do a show, and of course, Wizkid, you'll come back next year, right? Or you'll come back by December, right? Like that. And so it's for me, it's been interesting, because I've been doing this like for a while, right? And it's interesting just navigating, I mean, of course, I'm seeing all the problems our industry has, but also seeing all the ways that it could work. Right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of that data,
yeah,
right, is to show that the data is constantly showing you, the data for your songs is constantly showing you that you are being looked for in the French countries.
Yeah, in some French countries. I mostly
How
English.
many?
So I know we have listeners in Abidjan, we have listeners in Congo, we have listeners in Togo, Benin Republic. Like these are places that I've also wanted to go to.
Okay.
And
so your song is leading you there.
Essentially, yeah. It would be good to like, because even going to first time I did a show outside of Lagos, it was Ibadan last year, and that was the first time I was going to Ibadan.
How was Ibadan like?
It was good. It's a very calm city. I really like it. I feel like the one thing I really loved about touring or just going to cities is like finding that I like when cities are not rush.
Like Lagos.
Like Lagos.
But Lagos has the money.
Lagos has a lot of things, but yeah, it can tend to be a stressful place, I'd say. But we try.
So which city is good for your creative process?
I would say calmer city. Lagos is good for work. Lagos is for hustle. You come here and you just do. You don't have much time to sit and think. you do something. You get me.
But while in Lagos,
yeah.
What time is suited for your creative process?
Nighttime. It's the quietest. Everybody's asleep.
At 3 a.m.
Yes, it's the best time.
So
do anything from making music to creating decks. It's the best time.
So let's speak about tunes.
Yeah.
How do you source for tunes?
Like music I listen to just by myself or just to create?
To create tunes.
Really, I wouldn't say that there's much sourcing. I mean, of course, when Rafi has an instrumental, he sends to me usually. Okay. Or any producers that I have a relationship with usually just send me stuff for friends or musician friends. However, by myself, usually a lot of it happens in here. Come up with melodies and then see what words go with them, and maybe I make a voice note and keep that for when next I see Rafi or something.
So you don't got in his kitchen one day and let's say the plate breaks.
And then I mean, to be fair, if I had to
or
give something,
you are going out and something falls. There's a
I would say
process.
Drumming on my steering wheel in Lagos traffic, if that helps. It's been the beginning of a lot of songs for me actually. So I guess Lagos does work for creating music. It's just interesting situation.
Well, the signals on 91.3. We'll be back shortly. Let's listen to one of his. Let's look at Time is Money.
Yeah.
And then we'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. Okay. Sorry.
I need like shit content.
Oh, God. Okay, so talk a bit about
you want my love, but you are pushing me away.
Yeah. is how I know
Oh,
rap.
I've been writing
Yeah,
songs
that's
for
right.
you on the
The
hot
mix of
for
the song.
you, my love.
It's the best I ever did.
Oh, my
The only one that's close is like.
Let me tell you, in love. You said you
But
were
I
something
want
that you
to
cooked
be
it.
only one. Stop some.
Joy in his heart.
My time is money, baby. In the answer your phone. I know you have options, but I want to be the one. Time is money, baby. You're wasting my time. You're wasting my money.
Are you ready?
Time is money, baby. In the am of pity. In the makwanda.
Do I look like I want to watch trouble singing?
Yeah.
Welcome back. Welcome back to Signals, and we're still with doing the Dwin, the Stoic.
This name is giving you problems today. It's giving you issue.
It's not even giving me issues. I'm wondering. Anyway, time is money, and were you trying to appeal to a certain crowd?
Yeah. So there's something with us Nigerians. We like, if, for example, it's the shakara thing. It's the thing where if you're trying to, you're telling someone I love you, love me back, and they're like, oh yeah, I love you, but like, just give me some time or something like that.
Nah.
At some point, you will be like, I'm also a fine person. They are looking for me as well. Right? Right? And so you will go, time is money. Like, answer me. So in the song, I'm trying to capture both feelings where it's like I love you, like, come, let's do, but also, like, you're taking time, let me, and so it's like, it's a very, I think, if anything, I think it speaks very much to us, like how we tend to approach these things of romance. But I think there's also nuance to it where it's like sometimes someone needs time and they're taking their time to look at the options, and you are just saying, you know what, of the options, can I just be the one you choose last?
No, don't be the one you choose last.
And so that's, I would say. But with the sound itself, with High Life, I think I've always, I'm music. I'm from Enugu State. I'm an Igbo boy, and so it made sense to make the song and even speak Igbo in it, because
You have to represent. That's very important.
it's important.
Okay, now with Rafi, because you've spoken about Rafi, wherever
Yeah.
Rafi is, hope he's listening.
Yeah.
How did you guys connect?
We had a friend of Rafi had been working with this guy called Oshodi for us to work on a song. I think after my album had come out, so he listened to it, was like, yo, we need to work on something. And I had been busy, but I was just like, you know what, I'll come through. I came to the studio, and then I met Rafi there. And so we just, because it was like in VI and I was working not far away, so most times after work I'll go there right before I go home, or if it's the weekend, Friday, I go there, and then I don't leave till like Saturday evening or something like. And then in that time, this was months of just doing this back and forth and developing a friendship, but also just making a ton of music. We're writing songs, and it was never with any, we just went in there because we just found that, we make really good
synergy
music together. Yeah, so let's just keep doing this. And so that's how the Ignis Brothers album, The Cost of Our Lives, in 2020 happened. Then, of course, Love Lane. Basically everything I put out since 2019 has had Rafi just involved in some way. And so, yeah, it's a partnership I'm very happy about.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Now with it's Signals on 91.3. Send us a WhatsApp message 0809 234 5913. So far, from that guy in 2007 till 2024, has it paid off?
Interesting. I think the idea of paid off, I guess it would not have to be monetary.
No, we're not talking money.
I'm thinking that, yes, it feels like the thing that people like, you hear about it, people saying looking for purpose and what they're supposed to be doing. And I think I'm probably just lucky to have found one of the things, at least.
Okay.
I know that the things I want to do, they expand, they get into film, into theater. I want to write a musical. I think Nigerians, the musicals I have seen here have been better than like films. Like, I don't know why that hasn't become a thing for us.
Like song.
Right?
Song comes us.
Exactly. And so I want to do all these things. And so it's good that, in all of this time that 12-year-old writing music in 2007 was writing it because he was just fascinated with the idea that you could just make
Songs
just out of nowhere, right? And so now for it to be what I'm pursuing. I like the business of it.
Okay.
Interestingly, and trying to figure that out. And like there's this interesting optimism that's entered into the way I approach music as well. Where it's like we need to make this industry work because I think we can all just enjoy from it. So why are we not doing that, right? So yeah.
So what would be your interpretation of the industry in terms of world streams, fake streams?
Oh, I mean, I think I hardly ever focus on that because I don't. I think it doesn't. It hurts you in the long run if your streams are fake, mostly because then how do you know to trust your data, for example, right? I
Okay.
can say now that I know I have so amount of listeners in a particular place because I did not like apart from natural like normal things like running ads to target a place. There's nothing else I've done to make their number abnormally big. If it's big, it means people are listening,
Yes,
and so that informs me a lot more. I think it's and especially for younger artists. I think major artists at some point it doesn't matter if you're stream farming, you're big. Everybody just
Okay.
assumes those numbers are fine, but it's like if you're a young artist trying to build a career, a long-lasting career, you want to know that you're gathering actual listeners, people who are listening to you. And I think that the industry hasn't supported that for some time. It's always
The numbers,
been,
the higher numbers.
it's always been you were virtually unknown before and then boom.
You're
Now
wrong.
everybody, and that's because money was pumped or something, or was co-signed or something. And it's like, but the truth is, the way an industry thrives is that you have artists who people can go, oh yeah, I saw him do this and that and then.
So there's
you
a
know,
trajectory, there's a
Exactly.
process.
And there's and the part we've also been missing, and this now speaks to our economy and what we should be doing more in the industry, is live performances. We became such a only in December people, right?
Okay.
Or only so now it's like we should be able to enjoy a tour from an artist we love here. But of course many things need to work for that to happen. I think so. I think in just working in tech, working in like financial institutions for some time, working in finance tech, I definitely have gotten more comfortable with like numbers and
Okay.
What's it called? Reading data, trying to use data to inform your decisions. All these are things I've done both in tech and even while I worked in media what's it called? And Big Cabal Media as editor-in-chief as the Coco. Data was constantly informing how we told stories, who we told
Okay.
stories to. And so in tech as well, it's helped me with just, for one, there's hardly any software that we're trying to pick up that, and most software are becoming easier to use now. So it's really like it's easier to just pick up stuff and use it to our advantage, right? And so, yeah, and we live in a very tech-heavy world, so trust me, it's just it's definitely always an advantage to be able to navigate tech stuff.
With AI, what are your thoughts with AI and songs?
AI
Writing
and
of
songs. So that part I think I did an interview with Tech about last year about this, where I said I think just like every other technological advancement, people will find interesting and very genuine ways to make art with this, but when you have the issue,
So how then do we educate the industry? Because again, when I look at the industry, that father that tells you, so what are you creating? I don't understand. Right? So
Yeah.
how then do we educate the industry?
Yes, so I think
Because
it
we
comes
always
down-
complain about them, knowing fully well that they're a different generation.
Yes, I think it's a thing where we have to first understand something that we still have very lax, not too lax like that, but I say the way we handle copyright and all these things has not yet even evolved. Like, and what tends to happen usually is that in the US they make the laws and then it kind of trickles down to most other industries. But of course, I think everybody should be proactive in their own industries, right? You should be able to say, if you want to do this with someone's likeness, voice, whatever it is, there need to be
Patent.
yes, something needs to stop you from just exploiting artists without. Is the reason why at some point, like with legislation in the US, slowly it became harder, and just people pushing back, became harder for labels to take advantage of artists unfairly, or for people to be, just not getting what they should from the career they're having. So with AI, I'd say we just need to be mindful, right,
Okay.
and try to use it well.
Now, any future collaborations? I know people would have asked you. Any future collaborations with? Let's look at. Would you have had Jim Reeves? Would you have done a collaboration with? Thank
With
you.
Jim Reeves, definitely. I think Jimmy's and I will write the saddest song ever, I think.
So why are we having to write sad songs?
Because sometimes we need that. Sometimes.
No,
Yeah.
Because-
Say you don't use that.
why are we writing sad songs?
So-
It's good sometimes,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Jim Reeves with Thank D.
Yeah.
And,
Also, that's the thing. So Jim Reeves also did have like a right. For example, he has a song called "He'll Have to Go," and in the song he's basically like a slower country version of "Time Is Money," where he's saying, "I know that there's someone with you. Tell your friend he has to go." Like over the phone, he's telling her this, and he was going through a lot, the man. But I think yes, definitely, I will.
Do you go through a lot sometimes when you're writing sad songs?
Well, I mean, you don't go through a lot to write it immediately. But maybe, yes, of course, past you will remember some of your own pain and add a bit of, you embellish, and then make it song. Make a song out of it.
Signals on 91.3. We're discussing with Dwin this Stoic. It's not intentional.
Just try this. His name is Edwin. And we took
I
out
know.
the E.
I know.
It's not helping.
It's not helping the matter. Right? So with Ebenezer Obey, are you looking? If you want to do something with him,
I would. I mean, I don't even know how I would begin to reach out to the man because he's a legend. But I mean, yes, I think that, for example, if Rafi and I enter the studio with anybody that we like their music, we will create an amazing song. I think it's something that we have over time just become very sure of because we've by ourselves just tried different things with sound, right? So I personally want to do a
which of the
feature
songs
song.
would you like to recreate?
Honestly, I won't want to recreate anything. I just want to do a new song with him. And that's the thing. That's the thing. I know that when people work with artists, legends, you tend to want to either sample them, and I get that. It's a but I always think that I don't think it ever stops them creating,
No, it doesn't.
right? And so I want whatever 80-year-old you has over time, just and
God,
that you can give me, I will take that, right? So I will create something.
You should work it out soon.
Yeah.
Now let's speak about creatives. But before we do that,
Yeah.
let's look at something that I've caught over in our conversation: the business side of music. What trickles you with that? What takes your fancy?
I think it's because
You like the business or the money?
the business money is not. It's not.
The money is an addition, right?
We're trying to get the money. It's not really like it's not like a constant stream of it, right? I think it's even a good avenue to explain to people how we have been approaching this and how I think most people should try to look at it. I know that the music industry that people see is the one where everybody is balling, right?
Sorry.
There's money. There's just money everywhere. However, they need to understand that that is our elite within the music industry.
Okay.
There are artists who are now rising, they're trying to become that. And but in that time, it's the same way, like I keep telling people, like you don't expect a person who started a startup, for example,
Yeah.
to be buying Benz. I know that again, that has been something that we've seen, but it's not right. It's just, most of the time we
Buy
found
Benz
out
and go
later.
broke.
Exactly, we found out later that they used all the money that they were supposed to use. But the point is, it's like when we understand, and I know Nigerians are we want to
Blow.
quickly. But the thing is, this is how things go. You go, just slowly, and so that's the part of business that actually tickles me. It's like we'll go from a record label, independent artist, no, industry cosign per se. All you have is the music. That is the story of places like Def Jam. Big label across the world now. I keep saying I want to become
A
like
Def
our
Jam.
Def Jam. Yeah, we want to have St. Clair Records just house. Because again, because we're doing multiple genres, there's no we do only one kind of music.
Okay,
We're
you're testing everything.
everything, and it's like we know that we can make good music, which is kind of like our first assurance. Like we're coming to here just assuring you that as far as it's also is good music, for as long as we're here.
So what then is good music?
We get to say what it is. We call what we make good music, and our people agree, and that's what matters to us, right? We have constantly said, "Oh, here's good music," and they've said, "Oh, we received your good music. It is good music," and so it's been
It's a
reassuring.
product.
Exactly, it's exactly that, and it's not just the music usually. That's where the business gets interesting because now we're constantly figuring out our fans are our customers, but they're also our community. We know that there's some things they will do for us without us having to give them anything per se. But we also know that when we're having a show, we want to make sure our people are treated well, right? They won't stay for 3 hours waiting for me to come on stage.
Okay, I know that.
Right? They will. Our show start on time. That's the thing our community knows now. I know.
Punctuality.
Yeah, when we did the Lagos show, my parents were there earlier than most people, and they were looking up, the whole is not as full yet. In like 10 minutes, they were telling me the whole place was full because my fans have gotten. They know that we have time, right? And so all these parts, and then of course the music, getting music in films, right? Figuring out how to do a tour or put out an album or make sure everybody's credited properly, doing things right essentially, has become such a huge part of why we're doing this music business. That yes, that's what tickles me. Just that this can work. It can be done in a way that
in a professional
yes,
way.
and it doesn't have to be such a. I know we've not
Rashness.
we've not had the best stories when it comes to labels or artists or anything. But the reason I think that is because we've never really thought of it in the sense of this, that we need more independent record labels. We need more people consolidating, as opposed to this one artist is trying to blow over there in their corner, and this other person sort of started a record label, but they don't really care much about the business. No, we need people to go, I really want, I need you to have a long career. So this is what we're going to do. You won't buy a Benz in the first 2 years.
In the first 5 years.
But just know that, but what are you trying to do? You want to do this thing, though. Is this music important to you, right? And combining that love of the music with an understanding that this business is supposed to benefit all of us, I think is what will get us further, honestly.
Your parents' feedback so far?
My parents. Great. They are fans. They're huge fans. I think that's one thing that I know has been very helpful to even helping me stay sane in this music business, is that while for a long time I did the what's the word, the balancing thing, where they were sure that this one is not doing anyhow, right? I got a job.
You have to fulfill all righteousness,
right? But in the middle of fulfilling the righteousness, while I think by 2017 when I started recording my first album, I was living with them, but I also I'd been working for a bit, and so I sat them down one evening, and by that time I had like 1 or 2 sessions. That for that period, like 3 months, I didn't have weekends. I work Monday to Friday, and then weekend, Saturday, Sunday I'm in studio. And so I sat them down in the middle of all of this happening. I don't think they were aware what I was doing most weekends, and I was like, I'm making an album. I have a job. It's a I'm a consultant. I'm working with banks. It's a decent job. However,
job that gives them at peace.
Exactly. But for the weekends, I'm making an album, and so I don't. There's nothing else other than I'm making an album. And they were like, cool. And the album came out, and they came to listening, and they actually really liked the album, and then would carry because I made CDs at the time, I said they would take it to church and give people.
Sometimes our parents can be our
the biggest thing. Because God knows I don't think I would have done that myself, taking it to church.
No, you are prim and proper. They don't have shit. Our parents don't have shit when it means that they have
exactly.
to
They support you exactly. So it's like yes. So till now, it's just.
What was your father's response?
I think for a lot of it, me keeping the jobs and doing all that balance was in response to him. Like he is someone who has also been both creative, but also had to, start a business and whatnot. And so, but even now, as I am, also running a business, we are even finding more ways that we're, connecting, because it's like. As they do me, I'm telling you about things, and it's interesting. But I think right now, like even with the record label, it feels like a family business. It's named after my late sister, and so the family feels very connected. Like even when I had made the decision to leave the job to start this, I kind of gathered everybody and did a proper presentation. Ask me what you want to ask me, so you don't disturb me down the line. Just know that I'm doing this thing. It's going to come with a lot because it was also a risk. It was it's leaving paid employment, being sure of money at the end of the month to God knows what at the end of and I think it's the thing when people talk about the struggling part. It's just that I don't necessarily inject it into my music, but it is hard, right? There's months like the way the creative life is. Maybe you get paid for one job and then nothing for a while. But however, the beauty of the music business is that there's always the music. Right? You don't need to always have money in your pocket to create or to tell people that, oh, listen to my music, right? And so we've constantly always now done that. We understand where we are. We understand where we in terms of country, but also our stage we're at. So we are constantly managing, okay, so what can be done with that money? And when we see money, what can be done? And so just keeping that cycle going. It's just that again, God help us with our economy, but it would be a lot easier if that wasn't as shaky. But
Whether you have economy or you don't have economy, the plan with St. Clair's record is you have to make good music.
yes, and we're trying to be Def Jam, so it's not going to be just here. We're going
So let's assume that Def Jam comes to invest. Are you willing? Are you
Oh, definitely. I think I'm very much like I want to play the capitalist game. It's not.
the blood is sweet.
We're here to do business. That's for sure. It's just that I think that what we bring that is different or good to the whole space is that we actually really like this music that we're doing. We are doing
Okay.
this really well.
Now, finally, what messages do you hope to convey through your music?
I think the biggest thing for me is helping people see how similar we all are. I think that what happens with even my shows or my fans when they have to interact with each other is that you find that there's hardly ever space to be anything but just a human being who is understanding of other people, because we all like this music that feels like it speaks to our souls. So maybe that says something about your souls, right? Maybe you are similar at the end of the day. Maybe we should not have too many problems if we just understood that it's all of
Comprehension
us
is the
dealing with
problem.
all of this. But yes, I think the biggest thing for me is that people understand that it's the human experience and we're all in it, and but that there's also you feel feelings and try to express them, and that's I think the biggest thing I shared with this album is that with people you love or just things you're feeling, it's good to say that, to just tell them what you feel.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank
This was fun. This was fun.
Timmy, I'm free. Till we come your way again. And well done. Well done.
Thank
So I
Thank you.
I took
Thank
a
you.
chance and it didn't burn my hand.
I'm glad you.
Till we come your way again next week Saturday, like we always say on Signals, dream again, create opportunities for people, and because people will be people, keep creating opportunities. Have a wonderful week, and God bless.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
It's from the video they got it.
Oh, that's cute.